G'day mates, in today's video we're talking about the massive new content update Fortnite just dropped, adding a whole bunch of new augments, crazy new changes to mouse and keyboard that has a lot of controller players pretty upset. We got an update on tournaments and how the formats are going to run. We also got a leak into the amount of players that are currently playing Fortnite, and I have a feeling a lot of you guys are going to be surprised by these stats that just got released. There's a lot to talk about, let's just jump into it. Let's kick off with the reality augments, and this is a big one because Chapter 4 Season 2 has been great for a lot of things, but I think most people have been pretty upset with the augments. Half the time you're re-rolling, you don't even know what you're looking for, none of them feel that crazy outside of maybe Glider Redeploy and like Keymaster in the early game, so let's see if these help. We have Rail Warrior, regenerate health and partial shield while on grind rails or zip lines, except while in storm. We have Go for Broke, grants a charged shotgun and flint knock pistol. Aquatic Warrior, move faster and regenerate health and partial shield while swimming, except while in storm. And then Game Time grants the pizza party and some chug splashes. Now, top to bottom, Rail Warrior will be interesting for like split drops. Maybe if you're at a shambles drop without a lot of loot, you can use the zip lines or even the grind rails around Mega City to get your health up. It says partial shield, so like Aquatic Warrior, I think it's only going to get you up to 150, just like the Bush Warrior did, but very similar to Bush Warrior, both these augments are just going to be really good to top up your health, especially if you get a far zone or you're rotating a competitive and you want to save your meds. I don't think they're going to be game changing or game breaking, but they should be quite interesting. Aquatic Warrior especially, I can see people using like Bush Warrior. They're going to build like, you know, a metal 1x1 next to water, and they're just going to dip their toes in and gain their health and then trade surge with opponents. It could be really interesting to see how that affects the competitive meta. Now, Go for Broke, this one is going to have a big effect. Grants a charged shotgun and flint knock pistol. Now, any of the previous seasons, I would have been really excited for the charged shotgun. It's a weapon I really like. I think it's super balanced and really fun to use, but when you compare it to the Havoc shotgun that's gonna hit just as hard but has a way faster shoot time, it has more ammo, it has a faster reload, I just don't really know what the charged shotgun's going to achieve that the Havoc shotgun doesn't, but I guess we'll see. But the flint knock is going to change the game. I don't know how people are going to hold it in their inventory because I don't think they're going to carry it over a katana, and I think they're still going to want to carry double meds, but I guess we'll see. The flint knock, honestly, especially, you know, around early game, is actually a solid shotgun replacement. It hits like 170 damage headshots, and the headshot radius on it is massive, so it's one of my favorite weapons of all time. Even if it's just a weapon to mess around with an arena, to go for trick shots or do cool stuff in pubs, I'm totally down for that augment. And then last up, Game Time. This one is going to change competitive a lot and change the game in general. Grants the pizza party and some chug splashes, so you're going to get the pizza, which is insane meds. If you guys remember the pizza, you throw it down, you eat the slices, you gain 25 health and 25 shield up to 150, so it's just a way better mini. And then you're also going to get chug splashes, so that is by far the most powerful augment we've had added out of these four, and I would say it's one of the most powerful augments we now have in the game in general. That is a lot of added meds for very little effort. Next up, let's talk about a massive change to mouse and keyboard. There is now edit and build sensitivity multipliers for mouse and keyboard, just like controller. If you don't know what that means, it's very simple. You have a multiplier so that when you switch to your builds or edits, your sensitivity increases. So you can decrease your sensitivity a lot to make sure your aim is crazy because you don't have to move as much, but then when you want to go and build and edit, when you got to hit crazy flicks and move around a lot, it will multiply. It's exactly what controller already has, and it's one of the things that led controller players to be able to build and edit like mouse and keyboard players, because obviously when you're on a joystick, if you turn your sensitivity up too high, you won't be able to aim at anything, but if you have your sensitivity too low, editing and building becomes way too hard. Now, I don't know how many players are actually going to use this on mouse and keyboard. There's a lot of pros who've been asking for it for a while, but there's also a lot of pros who've been very skeptical to whether it's going to have much impact, whether people are going to unlearn all their muscle memory. On mouse and keyboard, with the mouse on a 2D plane, on a mouse pad, you have a lot of control. You can move slow, you can move really quickly. It's not exactly the same as controller. Now, speaking of controller, there is a lot of people upset in the community that there wasn't like single button reset or something else added for controller. People arguing that mouse and keyboard is just getting more and more overpowered and controllers being left behind in the dust. And while there's still some top tier controller players on NA, there's a few on EU. It is looking like mouse and keyboard is just day by day becoming more and more dominant. Where some people agree with that, you know, the traditionalists in competitive Fortnite, it should be mouse and keyboard. It's a PC game. I have always liked that Fortnite's dedicated to both because it increases the player base. It's one of very few games where you actually have both inputs competing at the highest levels. So I do wish there would be some functionality added for controller like single button reset, and I would love to see some functionality added for both. Like, let's get some FOV sliders, let's get some custom crosshairs. There's so many things people in the community are asking for, and it looks like if Epic is now listening with things like sensitivity multipliers, maybe we'll start to get some of those other things we've been asking for as well. This being the Easter update, we do have a whole bunch of egg-related things. We currently have which came first, the green chicken or the golden egg. 2 types of chickens and 3 new kinds of eggs are on the island for the duration of Spring Breakout. You may notice green and purple chickens clucking about, leaving special eggs around the island. Interacting with the unusual eggs will temporarily give you a benefit. So you have heal eggs. These green eggs restore your health and shield slowly over time. You have hop eggs. These blue eggs temporarily give you a low gravity effect and also give you health. And then golden eggs. You can't technically eat these eggs, but interacting with one grants you bars. Unlike heal eggs and hop eggs, golden eggs cannot be added to your inventory. So you pretty much have a whole bunch of cool effects. We haven't really seen too much before in this whole egg format. We've seen kind of like hop rocks and things that do stuff like this, but it should still be an interesting update. We also have the egg launcher breaking out of the vault for Spring Breakout. Find egg launchers from the ground, chests, supply drops, or for sale from certain characters. You can also get the springtime blowout reality augment as well. Now, all of the stuff I just talked about, the eggs, the grenade launcher, and the springtime blowout are not in competitive. That's why I waited to talk about it. So if you're a comp player, don't worry, that's not going to affect your game at all. The only competitive notes they gave for this update was the fact that this wasn't in the game and the cash cups start this week. In case you guys aren't aware, we do have cash cups starting. We have duo cash cup on Friday and Saturday, and then we have the solo victory cups on Sunday, as well as the trio no build victory cup on Sunday also as well. Now, remember, both of those are running at the same time, but they are only region locked for each event. So let's say you want to play the solo victory cup on your region NA, but you want to play the trio no build victory cup on EU, you can do that. The region locking this season works the same as last season. You get region locked for one type of tournament. So the duo cash cup, the solo victory cup, the trio no build cup, they're 3 separate types of tournaments, and you can pick which region you want to play each of them on. Once you play that region though, you are locked to it for the entire season for that tournament. Speaking of the solo victory cup, a lot of you guys have been asking my opinion on the new format. If you guys didn't see, they have changed it. Instead of it being like top 1,000 or top 2,000 make it to finals, it's now top 7,500 on EU and NA. And I know what you're thinking, that means the finals lobbies are going to be way easier. And while you're not wrong, you're not really going to be able to make any more money from it because the finals are only 1 hour long. And we've been told once you get 1 win, which is your $100, you're not allowed to play anymore. So you've only got 2 hours to get top 7,500, which is going to be very easy. But then the finals is going to be very RNG. It's going to be whether you get into a lobby with other good pros or not, because if you get into a lobby with like, you know, the bottom 7,000th players, a lot of you guys could definitely win that. And that's what they're going for. I know you instantly want to jump on the negative. Epic's so dumb. Why are they doing this? Trust me, I loved watching the solo victory cups the way they used to function. And I'm a little bit sad that watching them, I think maybe won't be as exciting, but one element that will be exciting, I'm going to focus on this. I'm going to put up more newcomers into my viewing party to watch. It's going to be a chance for a lot of people to get their first earnings. And that's what Epic is going for. They want a tournament that feels like, well, I can get top 7,500. I can win a game in a few games. And that's what they're going for. They really want to foster that part of the community that are up and coming pro players and make them feel like they have something to grind for where they can actually get money on a regular basis. So yes, while the top tier pros and a lot of you guys might not be too happy about it, there are definitely a lot of the people in the community who are very excited for this change in format. I don't know if this was deliberate in the update, but I really want to talk about it because I find it super interesting. A whole bunch of accounts were able to see how many people were playing the game mode they were about to play. So you could actually check, and it showed how many people were playing Battle Royale versus Zero Build Battle Royale. And these two combined were almost 500,000 at just a random time of day, which is already insane. But I think the part that surprised a lot of people was that regular build Battle Royale is making up over twice the player base of Zero Build Battle Royale. And that debate's always been going around. Is Zero Builds gonna kill Fortnite? And then you got people saying that if you still build, you're a sweat and Zero Builds is the future. Well, evidently not. While Zero Builds is still super popular, I think a lot of people's impression of Zero Builds being more popular is inflated by a lot of the content creators, because because it is more casual. A lot of content creators love playing it because it's a bit easier, it's a bit more fun. They can just play with their viewers or play with friends, not have to try as hard. But it looks like a huge part of the community still really likes the regular battle royale building. And for me, which is what I prefer because building is what made Fortnite for me, it's really encouraging to see and it's really exciting. But not to build the divide between zero build and builds even more. I think it's just crazy that 500,000 people are playing the game. This doesn't include tournaments and it doesn't include creative, which at the most recent Creative 2.0 UEFN show that Epic put on, they said the creative makes up 40% of their player base. That means there's almost 1 million people playing Fortnite at any one given time if it's the right time of day. That is ridiculous. You know the deal. If you like the video, chuck a like on it, subscribe to Extra Antics if you haven't. This is where all my update content's gonna be going now. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.